Hey guys, this is the Free Ant, and today we are going to discuss about the British forces. Now, the British forces are a very unique country in the company of heroes too. The British forces are suited for a very specific style of play. Unlike the German forces, which are very versatile, the British forces have a single way of playing. If you haven't checked the German forces or how to play them, please click the link below or the link above. So let's talk about the British forces. Now, British forces are very unique, as I already said. They are supposed to be played in a very specific way. Linking back to their role in World War II, the British were very defensive in their approach of play. And so the British forces in companies of Hero 2 are also defensive. When you play the British forces, and I'll show you in the video ahead, that the British forces actually prosper and do very well when they are put in defensive situations and are given roles to hold and lock down an area while the counter ticks down. The first unit that the British start off with is an infantry section. Now, this is the primary unit for the British, the primary infantry, but the infantry section for the British is much weaker as compared to other infantry or grenadier sections for different countries. The infantry section can build ammunition caches and fuel caches. It is also able to build trenches and sandbags, but the infantry section has a hidden advantage. When it is in cover, it is very difficult to kill it. At the same time, it is very efficient. This is a hidden bonus for the British infantry section and has to be kept in mind when using infantry to fight other infantry. When using infantry, you need to place this infantry in a heavy or a light cover. British infantry have three major kinds of upgrades. The first one being grenades, the second one being a weapons rack that unlocks machine gun and a grenade launcher, the third one being an extra squad person. I believe the third one is the most important one because it directly increases your squad members and has a direct advantage on your fighting capacity. For the British, if you want to upgrade your units or unlock other upgrades or other units, you have to unlock the posts, which costs manpower and fuel. There are two types of posts that the Britishers have. One is the platoon commander post, other is a company command post. The platoon command post unlocks secondary units like engineers, snipers, etc. And the company command post generally unlocks heavy tanks and medium tanks. Next, I'd like to talk about the two support infantry divisions that are there for the British. One is a heavy machine gun, which can lock down a position like the Germans and any other country, and the second one is a sniper, which is great for killing heavy machine gunners or lock down position from a distance and can hide from enemy infantry. The first light vehicle available to the British is a universal carrier. This is the closest thing that comes to the British if they want to play an offensive game. This is a mobile light vehicle that has a gun attached to it and carry troops. The best use of this is to flank the enemies, at the same time play an early game advantage where you can stop the enemies from capturing the point. It has two basic upgrades. One is a flamethrower and second is a machine gun. A flamethrower is good when you want to play a very focused anti-infantry campaign like against the Soviets, which are an infantry focused country. If you haven't seen the Soviet game, please click the link above. And a machine gun if you want to play a more diversified role against infantry as well as enemy light vehicles. The next unit we will talk about are the Royal Engineers. These are the backbone of the British Army. The Royal Engineers are used to construct things like mines, barbed wires, razor wires, a medical center which can heal your troops as well as act as a forward retreat point, and it can also be used to create mortar entrenchments, Bofors cannons, and anti-tank encampments. Now, the engineers are a very versatile unit because they help in building what we call the Britishers' defensive structures. The platoon command unlocks two upgrades. One is a Bofors cannon and another is a light tank. Now, I always prefer the Bofors cannon because of its defense capabilities, and I like to play the British in a defensive role. Similarly, the company command post has two upgrades, the hammer and the anvil. The hammer upgrade has a Comet tank, gamut bomb, etc. It's primarily a offensive based upgrade, and the anvil has the Churchill tank and defensive based upgrades like faster repairing, etc. For the British, I generally prefer the Comet tank because it gives a little bit of the oomph that is missing in the British attack, while my other structures and other strategy goes for a defensive build. The Britishers have three primary tanks and one tank that opens up after you choose the hammer or the anvil setup. The first out of those tanks is called an AA tank. Now AA stands for anti-aircraft. This tank is great for dealing with infantry but has limited capabilities with dealing with vehicles. It is good for light vehicles but has no effect on the frontal armor for heavy and medium tanks. It can do some damage on medium tanks if hit on the back, but it is not a primary tank for vehicle damage. The second tank for the Britishers is the Cromwell tank. It is the medium tank for the British Army and it is their primary powerhouse. It is like the Panzer for Germany. It is a cost-effective tank and does pack a punch. It is a good tank and can be upgraded with a commander who increases the line of sight. This tank can be used for multiple purposes but isn't very good against infantry. It doesn't also have a machine gun upgrade unlike the German or the American troops. Thus it performs a little poorly when dealing with infantry. But all in all, this is a great all-round tank and supplements the British Army. It can be used offensively and can be used defensively if the need arises. The third tank for the Britishers is called a Firefly. This is equivalent to a heavy tank for other countries. But for the Britishers, this is not the heaviest tank. That would be the Churchill that is available from the anvil strategy. The Firefly is a very unique tank because in addition to the commander upgrade, it also has the Tulip up. The Tulip upgrade fires two missiles in a direction utilizing ammunition. The Firefly is an interesting tank because it can be used in multitudes of situations and can go face to face with enemy medium tanks and heavy tanks. But it cannot go face to face with the likes of the Tiger, the Panther. It has a good purpose, but I would generally choose a Cromwell over a Firefly when playing the Britishers. The fourth tank that the British unlock is either the Comet or the Churchill. We talked about the Churchill earlier because it is a primarily defense-based tank. Now let's talk about the Comet. Now Comet is like a glass cannon. It hits hard, but it is not very defensible. It is great to shift focus from a defensible British to an attack-based British in the late game where you have an advantage and you want to pound the enemy to secure your victory. The Comet has a great cannon and can do good damage to even heavier tanks, but cannot survive on a head-to-head with one. There are other tanks and units that the Britishers offer, but they are offered by using generals. That is a separate topic in itself. And check out the generals video playlist to understand generals in depth and how to use generals in the general strategy of Britain. Now let's talk about how I suggest of using British as a country. Generally I use British where there are a lot of choke points. A map which has a lot of choke points is a best place to use British. In the initial game, I focus on Bofors cannons, anti-tank and mortars to lock down key areas and to gain points. As I shift my focus to the later game, as I was defensive in the start, my enemy is pretty weak. And thus I shift my focus to an attackive British where I take Comet and the hammer tactics and try to pound the weak or the medium level tanks that the enemy throws at me. By this way, I try to win the game as early as possible by securing a foothold in the beginning, making my enemy weak in the middle game, and then finishing it with a kill in the later game. There are other ways of playing the British where people try to go for an offensive build, but I generally suggest a defensive build because that's what the British strength is. Their infantry benefits from cover. They have Bofors cannons and anti-tank cannons that can lock down areas, and they have the Comet or the Churchill tanks which are great depending on the specific kind of a playstyle that you have. So guys, this is my guide for the British. Please leave comments below on your suggestion or the way that you play. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. This is the Freehand signing off.